Hey, what's up everybody? Bill DeFreitas for the GCVC and welcome back to another edition of Pro Tips. We took a trip to Omerta BJJ in Guelph to get some leg lock tips from Paul Federici. He's a black belt from Pura BJJ. He teaches at Stony Creek BJJ and Omerta BJJ as well. He shows us how he likes to aggressively use his reverse de la riva to enter into leg entanglements and gives us some tips on how he likes to finish his heel hooks. Shout out to Omerta BJJ in Guelph and their head coach Vinny Diaz. Just came off his pro MMA debut, winning via first round submission. And shout out to Ty Bridgewater for staying after class and helping out with the technique. If you don't know Ty, he's an absolute stud wrestler out of Brock. He's been training Nogi recently and could be competing at this upcoming Ontario Open. Good luck to that division. As always, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe if you don't already. Thanks again and enjoy the video.
Alright guys, Paul Federici here with my good friend Ty Bridgewater, famous. He took a little bit of time out of his schedule to be here for us, but I just wanted to show a technique, a little bit of an approach to heel hooking that I've been working on that's a little bit different. So I just wanted to start with, most people in the modern game now, and people are familiar with this position, they've been chasing the saddle, inside Senkaku, honey hole over and over and over again. And that's a great position. It's just, with a lot of these front side heel hooks, there's always the problem of hand fighting, heel exposure, and him turning away, okay? So a lot of people, when you get to the saddle, it's great, but especially at high level competition, people start that turnout escape where they go and they start to hide their heel, and now he can escape and it makes my life more difficult, okay? And when you see this happening in a lot of competitions, a lot of people aren't finishing the saddle for a lot of reasons because of these problems with it, okay? Same thing with 50-50. If we start with a square 50-50 here, okay? Because of the nature of the position, even if I get heel exposure on Ty, if he's able to move my knees to the ceiling, now he can sit up and start to hand fight and make my life miserable, okay? So one of the things that I've been trying to play with a little bit more is trying to get to backside positions, okay? So when we get to the backside, it eliminates them hand fighting, it makes heel exposure easy, and it's also more difficult for them to just turn out in a way that's gonna make my life more miserable, okay? And so one of the ways that I've been sort of playing with this is to use reverse de la riva as more of an offensive position as opposed to a defensive position, okay? And so what I mean by that is, when I was taught reverse de la riva, it was always stop the knee cut with it, right? So Ty comes in for a knee cut, and I get my reverse de la riva in to try to like prevent the knee cut, okay? And this is all fine and good, and we can invert from here. The problem is that when I play defensively and he gets his weight on top of me, it's really hard for me to move his weight and get underneath him, okay? And so an approach that someone, Andrew Wiltsey, talks about is being offensive with reverse de la riva, meaning I'm not gonna wait for him to put all his weight on top of me before I invert, okay? What I look for is as soon as I see that foot stepping in, I'm going underneath immediately into my attacks, okay? So that's just sort of a concept I wanted to throw out, is the idea of not waiting for somebody to crush you in reverse de la riva before you start to launch your inversion, okay? So when in Nogi, it's a little bit easier to use this position with momentum, okay? So when I go to invert, okay, I'm gonna look to get my de la riva hook, okay? Again, I'm lacing around the back of his hamstring on his thigh, and I like to use the back of my hand around his shin. I'm not the most flexible guy in the world. I can't just invert on a dime. So I like to use this backhanded grip because it already starts to tilt my shoulder in the direction I wanna go, okay? When I make my inversion, I don't spin out really wide with this leg, okay? Ty can stack me, he can start to make my life miserable. So when I go to invert, I think about bringing my knee to my chest, and I think about reaching behind his far leg, behind his hamstring, okay? So I get my grip here, I reach, and I bring my knee to my chest, okay? And most people are familiar with this position because this is where they tend to go kiss of the dragon to the back, okay? But from here we can usually get into good leg lock positions, okay? So the first thing I look to do is get his hands to the mat, okay? okay? In any leg lock scenario, I want light hips and legs, okay? If Ty's standing upright here, this is gonna make my life much more difficult. So I get 2 grips on his legs and I get his hands to the mat before I do anything, okay? I like to switch now from an underhook grip to an overhook grip, okay? And now I'm gonna lace my bottom leg through here, okay? And instead of just throwing my leg right over, I'm gonna take my knee and bend his knee in a little bit. You see how now I've created a bend in his knee? We've also created heel exposure, okay? So now he can't hand fight me here. There's no way for him to fight my hands. I'm gonna get my heel grip right away, and now I'm gonna lace my leg all the way through, and it's really important that, actually let's just rotate this way a little bit so we can see. So again, we're gonna invert here. I'm gonna bring my knee to my chest, and I'm gonna get his hands to the mat, okay? I've got double leg grip, his hands are on the mat, his legs are nice and light. This hand here, I'm gonna go from an underhook grip to an overhook grip. And now I'm gonna thread my top leg through, and instead of just trying to throw my leg over, I'm gonna bend my knee here, okay? You see how I do almost like an inside reaping action to put a bend in his knee. So this is gonna make my heel hook much more powerful, okay? I get my bite on his leg here, and now I thread my leg through, but with my top leg, I look to get a sticky hook in front of his hip, okay? And by a sticky hook, I mean I'm engaging my toes, so that if Ty goes to pull away here with his leg, I have resistance here, okay? Now, if we want, we can just triangle our legs here and finish, and a key detail to finishing this is I like to go for a butterfly grip. But the key to finishing from backside is I want my front shoulder ahead of my bottom shoulder, okay? So if I do this and I start to get almost like I'm gonna go belly down, but not quite, I get my shoulder over my bottom shoulder, and slowly if Ty goes to rotate out here, and no, the other way, he's gonna break his own leg. He's gonna feel that pressure, okay? If I'm relaxed like this, okay, Ty could roll here and I won't be able to finish it very well. Okay, so if we get to backside 50-50, and I want to finish this, I'm gonna get my butterfly grip here, and I'm gonna look to almost go belly down, and I need to get my front shoulder over my bottom shoulder, okay? So I lean forward, and now if Ty goes to back step, he's gonna injure his own knee here, okay? So we can get our tap here. From here, I just extend my body, and we get a tap, okay? So that's the best way to finish it from pure backside. Now he does have pretty much one option here. He can roll out, okay? If I'm a little late with this. This is where this sticky hook's gonna come into play, okay? If I feel that I've missed my opportunity and Ty back rolls, I'm gonna follow him with that sticky hook, okay? Let's rotate this way so we can see. I'm gonna follow him with that sticky hook. I still have my heel grip, and you'll notice I bring my knee immediately to the mat, okay? This helps me clear my own knee line so Ty can't counter heel hook me here, okay? The other thing I try to do is keep it in the center of his chest, okay, so that he can't hand fight right away. And what most people are gonna look to do from here is push that, and that's exactly what I want. I'm gonna now go shoelaces. I'm gonna cross my legs into a triangle, shoelaces on his hip. I'm gonna get my hips up off the ground, okay? And now if he tries to hand fight from here, it's very difficult. All I have to do is engage my hips, and we get a tap here, okay? So there's 2 ways to finish it. I'll go over that again. Okay, so when we do our inversion, I don't wait for him to come all the way down. Now this is a different scenario, okay? So there is an element of timing with this, okay? So when I see that leg coming in, I immediately go, I bring my knee to my chest, I get his hands to the mat, okay? Now I go for an overhook grip and I drive my leg through. Again, I use my knee here to create that bend in his leg. I thread my leg through to his far hip, and we have an immediate heel exposure here, okay? Again, if I want to finish this, I go top shoulder and extend. If he slowly goes to rotate, I follow him with that sticky hook, and I bring my knee right to the mat here, okay? So that I'm in a position called like 80-20, but he can't heel hook me from here. I still have a bite on his heel. He goes to clear this foot off my chest. I go to a triangle, shoelaces on his hip, and I go head to the mat. Okay, much more difficult for him to hand fight here. I've got my hips off the ground. I just have to bridge my hips in and we get a tap to finish. So those are a couple ways that we can use reverse de la riva in a more offensive position, and we can get to backside ankle lock or heel hook attacks that make it difficult for our opponent to hand fight, difficult for them to prevent heel exposure, and difficult for them to just turn out like they do in the saddle or even sometimes at 50-50.
As much as I can. This one?
Yeah.
Cool, perfect. Thanks again to Paul Federici for the pro tips. You can find him all over the place. Pura BJJ in Hamilton, Stony Creek BJJ, and Omerta BJJ in Guelph. And you can find him on Instagram and YouTube at PFedBJJ. Thanks again for watching. See you soon.